The new 2024 movie Civil War from A24 released on HBO Max recently, and I finally got a chance to see it for the first time. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a film analysis of the movie and explaining why it shocked me in a way that is not exactly what you think. There are some very impressive things in this movie that took me by surprise. But there is one out of all of them that makes me very excited for the future of movies in general. Welcome to my channel, Film Obsessed, where I talk about everything that I love in the world of movies and television. With today's video discussing the new film Civil War, it is one that I have been looking forward to seeing for a while now. I missed it in theaters, unfortunately, but HBO Max has it on streaming now, and I had a very good time with it seeing it on that. Just to give a quick point of review, I liked this movie so much that I actually feel it did itself a disservice in not being made as a television show. I was fully locked in and gripped through every second of this thrill ride. It's filmed very well with great suspense and some awesome action. The story, characters, and the world of this United States under its Civil War had my curiosity and my attention. Unfortunately, the biggest sin that I think it does commit is that it doesn't flesh a lot of it out. I know I might be in the minority on this one, but I feel like I would have loved to have seen a lot more within this movie based in a 10 to 12 episode limited series. I wanted to learn more about our main characters and some of the story elements. I don't think I needed every single detail, but I certainly wanted a little bit more. I know it's about war photography and journalism, but I don't think the movie really knows what it wants to be other than that. But again, that's not to take away from all the other great things that it does. A24, as they have been doing a lot of recently, produced another spectacular film with this one and are building up their resume with becoming a new studio that we should all appreciate. So what exactly is it that I was very impressed by and shocked to see in its great quality from this movie? Well, it's one person, and it's the actress Cailee Spaeny, who plays the character Jessie. Now, I know I technically give it away in the thumbnail, but jokingly that was only to entice anyone coming into the video that this is exactly what I was going to be talking about, especially if you are a fan of hers like I am. I've now seen Cailee in a couple of things, namely the second Pacific Rim movie, Bad Times at the El Royale, Alien Romulus, and now with Civil War. She is a young up-and-coming actress who is amassing a great resume so far, and with all the stuff I've seen her in, I think she has shown that she is potentially going to be one of our great new stars in the film industry. It is not often that I will find a young actor who impresses me as much as someone like Cailee at her young age. Even in her most recent movie with Alien Romulus, I was impressed by both her and her co-star David Johnson, who plays the android Andy. I hadn't seen that dude in anything before either, and he impressed me so much that I'm looking forward to seeing him in stuff in the future as well. These are examples to showcase the point that I'm trying to get across. There is a whole new generation of moviegoers coming into the world, and I think that that generation also needs to find its own generation of actors to love and watch in all of their movies. I think someone like Cailee has the range to be one of those people. When talking about the movie that we are speaking to today with Civil War, her performance really showed me that she's got what most people hope to see in younger actors. In the movie, she plays a photographer named Jessie, who is trying to get into the world of journalism and war photography, specifically given the conflict in the country that she is in. One of her inspirations is our main lead, Lee Smith, played by Kirsten Dunst. Cailee's character joins Lee along with her friends, Joe and Sammy, on their trip heading to DC as they are trying to go and interview the President of the United States, played by Nick Offerman. What unfolds is a thrill ride of the highest degree, again, giving us a great performance out of Spaeny. Her character is really motivated and passionate to be in the world of this profession of war photography, but she lacks the experience of actually being a part of the real deal of it all. We see this in many moments on their drive to DC, as with one specifically at a gas station, she sees two looters being strung up in a car wash. At that moment, she was probably meant to take a photo of what was going on, but she didn't, as in the car ride leaving the gas station, she explains that through her frustration and emotional turmoil of having seen what she just saw. This is the beginning of her character that is so well performed by Cailee, as you feel for her in that moment when she breaks down knowing the experience that she just had. These moments start to elevate themselves as we go further and further into the plot. As they keep driving towards DC, they come across a a bunch of obstacles and moments of the actual fight where they get involved in needing to document their experiences. When in those fights and scenarios, she starts being more confident in her ability to document them and take photos. Cailee elevates that with her performance, but then we also see that in a downgrade with a character like Lee, where Kirsten Dunst has to act out her now being in a state of emotion where she actually can't do it anymore. It's almost like both characters started becoming the opposites of each other from where they were at the beginning to where they ended up being at the end of the film. Again, I think both were very well played out by both actresses. I think it is great character progression for someone like Jessie, who represents a profession that, as shown through the point of view of Lee, is not easy to handle. I love that at the beginning of the film, when Lee is sitting in her bathtub reminiscing about some of her past experiences, it just shows how brutal it is to be in the scenarios that some war photographers find themselves in. I think the filmmakers did a great job at showing that through a PTSD-like effect. It is going to hit everyone in different ways and traumatize them, and I think you saw that in a dichotomy of both the character of Lee and Jessie. I personally thought that Cailee's best moment came from the scene in the movie where she gets captured by Jesse Plemons' character, who, by the way, just as a side note, I think is one of 2024's best movie villains, and the man only has 5 minutes of screen time. Plemons is such a good actor, and he ate up this very small role with what he was able to do. In the aftermath of what happens when they are able to escape away, Cailee puts it all out on full display with her emotions. She just went through the most traumatic experience in her entire life, and she gave a damn good performance showing that off. I also want to talk about the ending, because this is where the character fully comes around. So as what is left of our main group makes it to DC, it is currently being invaded by the Western forces portion of the conflict as they are approaching the White House with great force. Our characters are trying to get to the president before the Western forces do, and they give the kill order on the president himself. Again, the thrill ride is insane here, with it being the biggest action sequence of the entire movie, but once they get inside the actual White House, that is when everything changes. As they get right to where the president is being hidden, there are a couple of Secret Service agents left to deal with. Jessie takes the initiative to, I would say, not smartly jump in the middle of the hallway to capture the moment, and as the agents come out of hiding to shoot, Lee jumps in front of her to save her life as she gets shot, and Jessie captures the moment of her death. It is one of those moments where it connects in with the beginning of the film when Jessie asks Lee if she would capture the moment of her death if it would have happened, and we see here that the opposite is what actually happened, which makes the moment even more sad because Lee during this portion of the movie was starting to break down and lose what it was that made her say all the things that she was saying at the beginning of the film. She was starting to break and couldn't handle it anymore, and right as the conflict of this civil war was about to end, she lost her life saving someone who looked up to her and was starting to become more like her. I think it's a really good character arc for Jessie, and again, I have to harp on it, but it is very, very well played out by Cailee's performance. The final shot of the killing of the president shows that she is essentially becoming what Lee was before. This is how you become a full-on war photographer. To give some of my final thoughts, I did want to discuss a little bit more of the rest of the film. So, as I said at the beginning, I don't think it is a perfect movie. I think it did have some issues with regards to not exactly knowing whether it was meant to focus on the war photography portion of it all versus the Civil War portion with how it started. That is why I would love to have seen a limited series on this storyline and this world of the United States. I liked all the characters and the actors, and they did a great job. I was hoping to get just a little bit more from Nick Offerman as the president, but I digress. Although, again, even with not having everything fleshed out as much as I wanted it to be, I still loved everything else. If this movie is getting an Oscar for anything, it'll probably be for sound design or production design. I thought the filmmakers did a really good job in creating a good sense of scale, but then also crafting good sound design around the war aspects of it all, with the gunfire and explosions and whatnot. Most parts of where our characters go to look like they are war-torn by the Civil War. Alex Garland as the director is a filmmaker I've come to appreciate with some of his other films that he's either directed or written. He crafts tension and suspense really well, and I think he is a big factor in why this movie works as well as it does. He directs actors very well, which leads me to my last point, which is again to emphasize the point of this video, which was to explore how Cailee Spaeny really did shock me with her performance. Younger actors and child actors have always gotten a bad rap for their performances in past films, to the point where sometimes those kid actors would get bullied for it, and that kind of stuff is so disgusting. It's very rare that you will find an actor that will show the range like how Cailee has done done in her past films, and then up with her most recent stuff like here with Civil War. I look forward to seeing her in anything else she does in the future because I do believe she is going to be one of our new great upcoming actors. So there you have it, my breakdown of the new A24 movie Civil War. Leave your comments down below about what you think about my breakdown with regards to the movie and all the details I brought forward about Cailee Spaeny with how she was the standout in my opinion. Thank you for stopping by my channel, Film Obsessed. If you want to see more moving forward from me on this channel with regards to film and television and you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and also subscribe if you are new here and turn on that notification bell. That's a wrap, folks. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you all soon for the next video.